Okay, this one could get me in some trouble. On today's episode of Drop It Low for Jesus, Pastor Mike Todd of Transformation Church posted this video of him and his wife doing the Toosie Slide. Wait. Before we get into all of that, for those of you who don't know, Michael Todd is probably the most likable preacher on social media. He makes Joel Osteen look like Geno Jennings. You's a liar! Seriously though, he blessed a family at his church with a minivan.
Can you pass mommy and daddy the keys to their brand new 2020 minivan? What do you need more than a car? What'd you write down? Wow. She drew a house. So baby girl, Thomas family, I want to let you know on behalf of Transformation Hurt, you have $250,000 to go buy a house.
Oh yeah, and a house too. Who does that? Michael Todd, that's who. How could I not give him props for that? I mean, if I had to choose between Michael Todd's approach versus Leroy Thompson.
But God says it's time for us to tell that money, you don't belong to the wicked, you belong to us. And I want you to get in the right place. Money coming to me now. Somebody help me dance up here. Glory to God. Woo.
I'm going Michael Todd every time. But just because he's mastered the art of generosity doesn't mean that he should pop, lock, and drop it for the gram. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. Michael Todd lost a few points with me when he gave that Easter sermon last month.
It's one thing to be criticized by people who don't believe and people who don't have your best interest in heart, but it is a totally different thing to be criticized and ostracized and made to feel lower or less than by people who are supposed to be Christ followers. And many of you watching right now, you've stopped messing with God because of Christians. You stop having anything to do with the relationship you really need in your life because you are hurt by people.
Oh, so it's our fault people don't want God. Man, he just straight up threw us under the...
I thought I was gonna die when the bus ran over me.
I feel your pain, little girl. Oh, the betrayal. Where are all these people who don't deal with God because of Christians? It's been my observation that a lot of times people turn away from God because of their own rebellion. Prime example, somebody left this comment up under one of my videos. In the end, Christianity just has too many cons than pros. It's a belief system that benefits heterosexual men and no one else. I can't do magic, can only have straight sex, I have to obey my husband, and if I don't, I burn in hell. Yeah, no, I think I'll stick to being pagan. I love my gods and wouldn't give them up for anything in the world. Although I disagree with her decision, I respect her honesty. Can we just be real and accept the fact that people reject God because they want to do what they want to do? Even Christians do it. People in the Bible did it. It's a fact of life. Let's take atheist Richard Carrier for an example. Brilliant man who has an axe to grind with Christianity. Would y'all believe he's an advocate for polyamory?
Polyamory is essentially a consensual relationship between multiple partners. These relationships may or may not be sexual, but they are typically romantic.
Enough said there. What about the prodigal son? Do y'all think he left home because his father was too hard on him?
I have yet to experience what the outside world has to offer.
Ah, so you want to sow your royal oats?
No, it's not that.
That's exactly what it is. You ain't fooling nobody. Jesus said he squandered his estate on foolish living, and his own brother accused him of cashing out on prostitutes. It's not really clear in scripture exactly what he was involved in, but I have a sneaking suspicion that he was not in the temple reciting the Shema. People have got to stop using the church as the scapegoat. And pastors need to stop enabling people to feel comfortable in their sin. When a Christian shares their faith with a non-believer, do y'all know what that's called? It's called evangelism. And evangelism is not always easy. I mean, you could be as nice as Cliff from Give Me an Answer and people will still get upset.
Let's talk about how many people atheists have killed.
Atheism killed?
Yep.
Holy sh**. You're the most uninformed mother seen on the planet, and a demagogue.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Why should
It's
I be
all right. I like
respectful?
him. It's okay. Don't worry. We're doing okay out here. I like your passion. Okay. I love your passion. God created us, and God gave us innate value.
No, we're valuable because we're human beings, and we have an innate value that isn't defined by some ornate religious order. We are defined by our common interest in keeping each other alive. And the only people that want to destroy that are the enemies of the people, and they should be destroyed in a revolution. That's what I'm talking about.
All right. Okay. Fair enough.
Shut the up.
Is that respecting the people?
No, I don't get.
The truth is, the gospel is powerful and life-changing to those who believe it, but is veiled to those who are perishing. Romans 1 talks about this in great detail. For God's wrath is revealed from heaven against all godlessness and unrighteousness of people who by their unrighteousness suppress the truth, since what can be known about God is evident among them, because God has shown it to them. For his invisible attributes, that is, his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly seen since the creation of the world, being understood through what he has made. As a result, people are without excuse. It's not our fault, okay? I'm not saying that legitimate church hurt doesn't happen, but to blame Christians as the reason for why people don't want to become Christians, to me, that's a blanket statement.
What have you been hearing from the Christians? They'll be the first ones to judge me, make it feel like nobody loved me. That is the deception of the enemy. To make you feel like when you make this decision, people who love God are going to think that I'm not worthy enough. And then people who don't love God is just going to think I'm weird. And this was the same thing he penned. He said, told people God was my mission. What have you been hearing from the Christians? They'll be the first one to judge me and make it feel like nobody loves me.
Did he have to bring Kanye into this? I said this in a previous video that I did about the whole Kanye thing. When he first started releasing his footage from his Sunday services, I was not for it. Let's not forget that the man called himself Yeezus and said that he was more influential than the Apostle Paul.
Bro, by 50%. Stanley Kubrick. Apostle Paul. And Escobar. By 50% more influential than any other human being. Don't with me.
And then he had the audacity to bring up a white Jesus impersonator on stage at a concert.
The show saw Kanye bring out a Jesus impersonator on stage and exchange in a dialogue with him. Kanye asks Jesus if it's really him, and Jesus replies, "I've been here the whole time."
Now all of a sudden he's coming out saying he's a Christian and I'm just supposed to take his word for it? No, ma'am. I feel like we had a valid reason to question his conversion. And to be fair, the disciples didn't believe Paul when he first became a Christian. When he arrived in Jerusalem, we're talking about Paul now, he tried to associate with the disciples, but they were all afraid of him since they did not believe he was a disciple. The Lord even appeared to Ananias and told him to go see Paul, and Ananias was like, Then Paul approached the disciples like, "Hey, fellas, can I hang with y'all?" And they was like,
Not today.
And can you blame them? Just saying, we got precedents.
Right now in this moment, if you have ever been hurt by somebody that wears the badge of Christian, Christ follower, pastor, preacher, somebody who knows the Bible, if you've ever been hurt by them or you've been criticized by them, I want to apologize to you.
Oh, Lord, here we go.
Listen, anybody who has misused power or manipulated or done anything to make you feel like God is not who he is and his character is good and his character is love and his character is for you, I want to say I'm sorry. Because that is not the character of our God.
God is love, but God is also holy. God is also righteous. If you're going to tell it all. Why is it not okay to judge people unless you're judging those who you feel like are being judgmental? Just saying. If he can make a judgment on the judgmental, then I feel like I can make a judgment on this twerk video.
No, I could dance like Michael Jackson. I could foot up, left foot slide. 2,000 shorties wanna tie the knot, yeah. 200 on my brother's block. Oh, yeah.
Every time he does that pelvic thrust, I'm like, no, Pastor Mike, no. Whenever I see church leaders or Christians in the limelight doing this kind of thing, a couple of scriptures come to mind. 1 Corinthians 10:31 says that we're to do everything for God's glory. I just don't see how twerking on social media glorifies God. And then Romans 14:16 says that we should not let our good deeds be evil spoken of. I guess in the grand scheme of things, it could have been much worse, but I still feel how I feel about it. In my humble opinion, it was not a good look. Listen, whatever they want to do in the privacy of their own home is their business. And they should be TikToking and Toosie Sliding together. I mean, they are married. But did it have to be posted online, though? I will admit that the couple's TikTok idea was very cute. But maybe in the future, opt for the moonwalk instead of the pelvic thrust. Anyway, y'all let me know how y'all feel about this in the comment section. Is Miss Titus too tripping or not? And let's keep it scriptural no matter what side of the fence you're on. Drop those verses in the comments. Alright, if you enjoyed this video, help me out by hitting that like button. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Until next time, guys. Shalom, grace and peace.